As good as it sounds, we don't have time for this. We have an adventure game to play.
Hello there, fellow adventurers. Let's play some Adventure Jam games. So I'm finally getting back to the Adventure Jam after skipping the last couple years, but maybe I'll catch up on those sometime, along with the Adventure Game Challenge, which has been going on for the last 6 years now. That's a lot of jam. There was a record number of submissions this year, almost 350, but I managed to get through the whole jammy lot, though honestly I didn't play all of them all the way through. I'm quite fussy about what defines an adventure game, so I don't include anything like a platformer, first-person shooter, or JRPG. The exception with the last one being The Office of the Return by Durande. We play a zombie who's come back to life on the 100th anniversary of their death, and has learnt to live in the modern world despite the prejudice of humans, who aren't all accepting of the undead living among them. It's our job to help other zombies come to terms with their situation and remember who they are. I found this to be a really compelling idea, and have never thought of zombies as being more than just flesh-eating monsters. There's a lot of games that have voice acting, which is something of a luxury for a jam game.
Hello, Were-Princess.
No, we're not princess. I am the princess. You are a vampire.
Oh, obviously.
It was quite tricky to bring all these entries down to 10, but these are the select few that have been awarded the AGG seal of approval. Now usually my puppet companion Potu counts down for us. Potu count. But this year someone else is going to be doing the counting. What? My fellow Adventure Game Hotspot Network collaborator, the Space Quest Historian, was going to enter the jam this year, but that didn't quite work out, as he'll explain.
Shit happens.
So anyway, I asked him if he'd like to do the countdown, despite the fact that he does shit like throwing darts at Prince Alexander from King's Quest VI.
What? Nothing to see here. Anyway. Number 10.
Interstellar Interruption is developed by Digital Mosaic Games, who also made the I Can't Believe It's Free-to-Play game Metaphobia, which I made a video on, as well as Stu the Adventure Brummy, whose channel is sadly no longer on YouTube.
Alone and desperate for help, Robert really needs the assistance of his ex, Judy, who he hasn't spoken to in 6 years.
Hi Judy, it's Richard. Yeah, that one. Yeah, it has been a while. Yeah, 6 years, yeah. No, I don't know where your scarf is. No, or your cardigan. Yes. Yes, I know. Yes, no, your mum knitted it for you. Yes, look, hang on, my dad's been... Yeah, no. Yeah, I did forget to water the plants. No, forget it. No, my dad's been murdered. No, forget it.
We wake up on a spaceship not knowing where we are or how we got there, but our uniform tells us we're a captain. Must be one of those uniforms with name badges on them. We must explore the ship if we can get past this locked door, which needs both a battery and a code to open, so we can't use the trusty put paper under door and push key onto paper trick. Inside we find a robot that seems to have gone mental and killed the crew, and is constantly pounding on one of the dead bodies. This robot holds the answers we need if we can work out how to operate it, which has something to do with these code words like Radio Cat Cosmic and Daydream Moon Alligator. This is a very well designed game all round, and hearing the crew's story through audio logs rather than reading about it in a journal or something is a nice touch.
We'll be free from vicinity, but become enslaved by the devil. If the rapture is indeed upon us, I am ready. God knows what is inside my heart, but I will not help anyone open the door to hell.
Number 9.
The alignment paradox starts off in the same way as Interstellar Interruption.
Oh, my head. Where am I?
This time we don't have a captain's uniform to tell us who we are, though by the look of our legs we might not be entirely human. Fortunately, a dog called Luna shows up who can help us escape by playing fetch.
Hey Luna, who's a good girl? You gonna help me get out of here? Let's see what you can do.
Once free of our shackles, we must find a way out of this basement. I got stuck here for a while even though the solution was right in front of me the whole time. It's amazing how you can get stuck in one room like this even after trying everything on everything.
Ah, adventure games.
I won't give away too much of what happens outside this room, but I just love this guy's dialogue.
The human race is a stain on the pages of history, and it must be eradicated.
Who does he think he is? Agent Smith?
Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are a plague, and we are the cure.
Number 8.
Under the Sea is developed by the Argonauts, who are a talented bunch of adventurers from Germany that first made Me and the Robot for Adventure Jam 2020 and have been jamming ever since. Their games always look very polished and well presented, which for a game made in 2 weeks is most impressive. As the title suggests, this game takes place underwater, in a research station where things start going wrong. I was afraid we were going to be stuck in the dark this whole time, but we just have to get the emergency power working, once we figure out that we can move the flashlight from one side of the screen to the other. Once the lights are back on, we can switch between 2 different characters, just like in Twisted Times and Twinsmith.
Oh wait, we haven't got to that yet. Forget I said anything.
Apart from the traditional inventory puzzles, there's also a diary that you have to unscramble with a code, which you then use to get the password for the computer, as well as the good old distraction technique. It's all good, clean adventure game fun, unlike Phantasmagoria 2, which is a different kind of fun.
Well, we'll just have to zip up that sweet mouth of yours. If you can't be a good boy. Would you like that?
Number 7.
Dead Hand was one of the first jam games I played this year, and it set the bar pretty high. We play a soldier who's been sent by his command to a military bunker in Siberia, with orders we have in our pocket, or my inventory as we used to call it as a kid.
Ah yes, I remember when I was a kid, picking up items and putting them in my inventory, and then using them to solve puzzles. Good times. Oh wait, I'm still doing that.
The base commander is going on break and leaving us to take care of the place, which he says will be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Famous last words. So all the machines start malfunctioning and we have to fix them before they launch a nuclear missile. The fate of the world is in our hands, which means the first thing to do in this situation is save our game. For the most part, the puzzles here aren't too difficult, though there's a few tricky pixel hunts that could do with a hotspot option. One item we find is a duck made of wood, which is an in-game reference to the developer who also made an adventure for the Pixel Game Jam this year.
So much jam, so little bread. Get out of there!
At the end, we have a few options to wish on a shooting star. Of course, we should wish that people donate more often to support developers on itch.io.
Number 6.
This is the third part in the continuing saga of the Tallwinium by Powerhoof. Previously, your band of adventurers were betrayed by your friend Wit, who in turn was betrayed by the Shadowfell and sent to an early grave. Now he's rising from the grave with one of the greatest lines a zombie could say. In the first part of the game, we're sneaking around this bandit camp with the intention of stealing the horse. Although you can't die, this scene is still suspenseful as you sneak around holding your breath and trying not to be noticed. The challenge here is finding what to interact with, as things don't always stand out from the background. This is very much an old school adventure that doesn't hold your hand, but is so hardcore that it chops it off instead. This has to be one of the most epic scenes I've ever seen in a jam game, and with each installment the Tallwinium builds on the lore of the world and the characters. Here we have to use our sword to summon the breath of the elements to bring the dead back to life, but I got stuck finding enough breath. What more can I say about Powerhoof except they have the power to make bloody good games, and one of their upcoming ones is The Drifter, which you should wishlist on Steam or else.
Number 5.
Pixel's Time Paradox is a spin-off from Inspector Waffles, where we play as Pixel, the IT geek, who's building a time machine for reasons you could miss if you're not paying attention from the start. The author of the books he's reading just died, so he wants to go back in time to before the author's death to find out how the story ends. This is quite a strange reason to travel through time, but I guess when you're deep into a story, you just have to finish it any way you can. Pixel goes to see his flamingo friend JJ, who's wearing a tracksuit and hoodie like all flamingos do. From this poster, it seems that JJ is also part of the Adventure Jam. I wonder what game he made.
Just stolen cookie banana.
We have to look around the apartment for parts we can use in the time machine. I got stuck here as I thought I needed to do something with the power cable of the microwave, before realizing that I already had the items I needed to complete the time machine. A portal opens which presumably takes us back in time, but I'll let you play it yourself to find out. One thing's for sure, Pixel will stop at nothing to know the ending to the greatest adventure there is, which can only be the ending of King's Quest I.
Number 4.
The message at the beginning of Shards of God tells us that this is just a demo and we should temper our expectations. Well, there's no need to do much tempering as this is already looking like a class act from Honza Vavra, whose entry for the Jam last year was The Witch's Lullaby, which ranked first overall. The Mother Superior and her trainee pay a visit to the God Emperor Mun, who turns out to be not quite as he appears. So we find out it's just a guy in a suit, and it looks like he's been stabbed to death despite the fact that the suit is supposed to be impenetrable. Although the situation seems serious, there's a lot of humor that makes this game fun to play. Like Mother Superior standing around thinking while we do all the investigating. Talking to the archivist hints at some of the other characters and locations we can expect to see in the full game, like the farms which appear to be on top of some living creature in the earth like a troll. Here we're told in fourth wall breaking fashion that this world is still being created, and we can look forward to seeing more.
Number 3.
No Rest for the Wicked is from Goo Games, whose previous Adventure X Jam entry, The Will of Arthur Flabbington, is being developed into a full-length game. From the title screen of a vampire resting in his coffin holding a teddy bear, we know we're in for some blood-sucking fun.
The day has finally come, Master. It's time to wake up.
Another 5 minutes, Mom.
We play this Igor-like character, and the first thing we need to do is get our vampire master to wake up from his slumber. Once arisen, the master gives us the task of finding ingredients for his spell of eternal darkness.
Bring me the stones of pain, the scream of bitter tears, and the mane of a black stallion. Any questions?
No, I should be able to get all those from the local Tesco.
Why me?
Because you're the servant and I'm the master. So you serve and I... It sounded better in my head.
So if a servant serves, what does a master do? Oh yeah, master!
Of course, no vampire's abode would be complete without a talking skull on the mantelpiece.
Hello, Otto.
Oh, look who's here. The Count's right hand. The short, wrinkly, and puny right hand.
As you can hear, the voice acting is top-notch, and also features Jam regular Sally Beaumont as a torturer who takes great pride in her job.
I'm living my best life.
Getting into this torture chamber was tricky, and has something to do with getting the talking skull together with the skull of Powerhooves the horse, who's been dead for ages but somehow no one noticed. This game is a joy to play, and I particularly love the animation of this prisoner trying to stack chess pawns with his foot.
Can I have your pieces?
Let's do this. I can give up stacking if you prove your worth. Show me how many pawns you can stack. My personal best is 2.
Number 2.
Marco Giorgini always makes long jam games, and Twisted Times in Twinsmith is no exception. His games often involve multiple player characters, jumping between time periods, and getting shot over and over. The story of Twinsmith centers around the question of where do writers get their ideas from. Developer Marco put himself in the game this time as the player character along with his wife, so I decided to put the real-life Marco in this video to explain things much better than I can.
The fact is, everything started from a question that I heard a lot of time during book presentation. A lot of people asked the author where his ideas come from. And the fact is, there is not a serious answer to a question like that, but for my character, for Marco, it means that there is a secret that famous writers don't want to share with common folks, and he need to discover it because he wanted to have a good story for this gem.
Along with all these famous authors, both Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft have important parts to play here.
Well, the fact is, they are two very famous authors about supernatural themes. And in my opinion, H.P. Lovecraft was the person that should end the situation because it's exactly his own universe, the one we are going to see. Edgar Allan Poe was a great character for me to play with because of his death. The time in which the game starts for him is about 2-3 days from his death. So it was perfect for me to put him inside a very dark and dangerous situation. And the first screen in which Poe walks is taken from a picture of a place that is still open in Baltimore. That is the last pub in which Edgar Allan Poe was seen before his death.
Finally, I asked Marco why I keep getting stuck in his games.
It's called bad design. The fact is, running for 14 days let me create a game, but I'm aware that I'm going to miss some kind of connection because starting from the day in which the game is even a little playable, I play it all the time to check, to see if everything works. That way, I usually, after some time, miss elements. So something for me is clear while is not clear at all. But yes, I'm aware it is simply bad planning. I'm not evil that way. I don't want my game to be too difficult. But they usually tend to be because sometimes I don't see all the elements, and it's not a good thing. So I'm trying to improve about that.
In the game, Marco comes in last place out of 1800, but the results just came in and he actually ranked 13th. So that's cause for a few drinks at the Horse You Came In On saloon.
Number 1.
Lucid is a game that I might have overlooked as it's not the traditional point and click I usually play, but something compelled me to give it a chance, and it's a good thing too as it takes the number 1 spot here. Why, you ask?
Let's find out, shall we?
We start off next to a school bus that's sleeping peacefully, which we can tell by the Z's coming out of the exhaust. Then there's a giant clock next to it with what looks like some missing parts. Maybe this big blue-headed creature can tell us more about it. Oh, that's interesting. We have to be closer to talk to them. They tell us we've been here before, though we don't yet know where here is. And so we go off to explore this strange world full of weird creatures saying weird things. Like there was a cupboard door but you could only open it on Shrove Tuesday. This thing called Zag will trade some marbles for 6 stars, so we have to find enough stars to trade. Some of them might be hiding in a tree, like this song tells us.
Aga-doo-doo-doo, push pineapple, shake the tree, shake it hard, watch your head, dropping things, what could they be?
Some of the areas are out of reach until we learn to use teleport thoughts. I absolutely love the sound design of this game that makes doing even simple things feel satisfying. Some of the crazy creatures we meet are Mr. Drebus, who reminds me of Terrence and Phillip, this thing with the sideways head that spits out food, and my personal favourite, Choggers.
Why, it's Choggers! You certainly cleaned up the place.
Choggers gives a party quiz asking how often do we shower. The answer, of course, is yes. Yes is also the answer to the question, should you play this game, along with all the many Adventure Jam games this year. Alright, that's your jammy lot. I think we're ready to time out. This has been an AGG production in association with the Adventure Game Hotspot Network, which includes other fellow adventurers like the Space Quest historian, who volunteered to do the countdown for this video. And by volunteered, I mean I told him to do it or I'd throw darts at Roger Wilco. Oh, right in the bollocks!
Yeah, shit happens.
That's a lot of jam.